All right, this is all the intro you're getting today. Good morning, everybody. As you may have gotten my message earlier, we had some technical difficulties this morning in that I had no internet for the most of the morning. Just came back up, got a notification from my little alert on my phone, and so here we go. We're gonna do. This is obviously not the regular show. I decided that we will do. Oh, that's weird that thumbnail did that. We're going to do we're going to watch the Kamala Harris interview on Fox News with Bret Baier, who, as I said, yesterday I was talking about how people were giving Bret Baier shit just because he's the easiest of the Fox hosts to probably go at Kamala Harris. Although he didn't make it easy for her at all. So we're just going to watch it as much as we can until I have to leave. And it's since it's 25 minutes long, I'm obviously not going to see the whole thing. I could do it on fast speed, but I'm going to not do that. We'll just go through as much as we can until I got to go. So here we go. Well, I'm not going to spend a whole lot more time talking about it. Let me make sure that my internet article thing here is working. Yes, it is. Good. All right. So we'll go back to... Let's put this thing on the full screen. We're just going to watch and talk. Here we go. Bret Baier, Fox News, Kamala Harris, and we'll just talk about it as it goes along. Oh, by the way, I got to fix one other thing first. Hang on. Let's not do this because, I got to have the grift work correctly. So let's fix the alert box right now, just in case you decide you want to throw money at me while we're doing it. Because I got to pay my cable bill. No, I don't have a cable bill. I just have internet. And the reason it was down had nothing to do with whether or not I paid it. Oh, check out new collectibles. Claim fun items for your stream like webcam frames, pets, and more. Oh, I had no idea you could do that. I'm not doing that shit. That's something Streamlabs or Streamlabs? Yeah, Streamlabs I use. That's something Streamlabs is doing. I don't care. Let's go. Here it is. Kamala Harris on Fox News. Put that full screen up there, bad boy. All right, here we go. Let's see how it goes. I've watched this once, but I didn't take any notes. I was watching while I was working, so I really didn't watch. I had listened. But let's go. Here we go.
Madam Vice President, thank you for the time.
Thank you. It's good to be with you, Bret.
Voters...
Oh, no, it's not. It's not. And you can see it on her face. Someone made her do this interview.
Tell pollsters all over the country and here in Pennsylvania that immigration is one of the key issues that they're looking at this election, and specifically the influx of illegal immigrants.
Oh, by the way, hold on. I almost forgot the most important part of the show. Good morning, Selected Boy. You are first. You get the bell. Oh, wait a minute. That's AD's music. Sorry, AD. Also, morning, Avocado Stably Cara Soldier. Select a boy. I already said that because you were first.
Yeah, boy.
Almost forgot that part. Attack Alpacas here. Simon on Bold Nation. Thank you, Lord Stanhope, Darren Root. That's all so far, but maybe more people will trickle in. I don't know. Here we go.
50 countries.
I'm sorry.
How many?
Hang on.
And specifically the influx of illegal immigrants from more than 150 countries. How many illegal immigrants would you estimate your administration has released into the country over the last 3.5 years?
Now, this should be an easy question to answer. Does she answer it? Hello, number one.
Well, I'm glad you raised the issue of immigration because I agree with you. It is a topic of discussion
that's not what he
that
asked.
people want to rightly have. And
Give us a
You know what I'm
number.
going to talk about.
Yeah, but
right
do you
now,
just a
which is-
number? Do you think it's
Give
1
us a
million, 3
number.
million?
She never
Brett,
give a
let's
number.
Just get to the point. Okay.
Give a number first. Give to the point and then give your number. Or give a number, then get to the point.
The point is that we have a
She's so
broken
tiresome.
immigration system that needs to be repaired.
So your
And-
Homeland Security Secretary said that
Well, no,
85% of apprehensions.
I'm not finished. We have
It's a
an
rough
immigration
estimate of
system
6 million people
that
have been
needs to be-
released into the country. And let me just finish. I'll get to the question, I promise you.
I was beginning to answer.
No, you weren't.
When
You were
you came into
filibustering.
office, your administration immediately reversed a number of Trump border policies. Most significantly, the policy that required illegal immigrants to be detained through deportation, either in the
She didn't want to
U.S.
answer this
or in
question.
Mexico. And you switched that policy. They were released from custody awaiting trial. So instead, included in those were a large number of single men, adult men, who went on to commit heinous crimes.
And 13,000 murderers and 15,000 rapists and 18 or 19,000 violent crime people.
So, looking back, do you regret the decision to terminate Remain in Mexico at the beginning of your administration?
Very first act.
At the beginning of our administration, within practically hours of taking the oath, the first bill that we offered Congress, before we worked on infrastructure, before the Inflation Reduction Act, before the Chips and Science Act, before the bipartisan Safer Communities Act, the first bill, practically within hours of taking the oath, was a bill to fix our immigration system.
Yes, ma'am.
And who was in charge of the House and the Senate at that time? Democrats had both the House and the Senate. So if this was so important, why didn't she get them to push it through?
It was called
And-
the U.S. Citizenship Act of 2021. It was essentially a pathway to citizenship for the... Yes, ma'am.
Pathway to Citizenship Act. It was not a border bill at all because they rescinded all of Donald Trump's border policies.
Finish responding,
But
please.
here- but this-
you have to let me finish.
You had the
please.
White House and the House and the
the
Senate.
Senate.
And
Ding!
they
I'm in the
didn't
middle
bring up
of
that bill.
responding to the point you're raising,
Okay.
and I'd like to finish.
Yes, ma'am.
We recognized from day one that, to the point of this being your first question, it is a priority for us as a nation and for the American people. And our focus has
Doesn't mean
been on
you're not saying
fixing a
anything.
problem. And from day
one, you brought up an amnesty bill and opened the borders up from Donald Trump's from his executive orders. You rescinded all the Donald Trump policies and presented an amnesty bill.
one, then, we have done a number of things, including to address our asylum system and put more resources, getting more judges, what we needed to do to tighten up penalties and increase penalties for illegal crossings, what we needed to do to deal with
You did none of that
points
when
of
you
entry
had the
between
House and the Senate.
border entry points. That's the work we did,
Holy
and we
shit.
worked on supporting what was a bipartisan effort, including some of the most conservative members of the United States Congress.
Okay, now she's talking about a different bill. This bill that she's talking about is the one they put in a couple months ago that failed. Remember, we'll get to it.
To actually strengthen the border.
No, it wasn't the strength of the border. It was to process people faster. She cannot even get her own bill straight.
Border bill would have put 1,500 more border agents at the border, which is why I
To
believe
process people faster and more efficiently.
the Border Patrol agents supported the bill. It would have allowed us to stem the flow of fentanyl coming into the United States, which is a scourge affecting people of every
A scourge? What the fuck's a scourge?
background, every geographic location in our country, killing people. It would have
Yeah. The extra 6 to 10 million they let in. Oh my God.
allowed us to put more resources into prosecuting transnational criminal organizations, which I have done
Yes, ma'am.
as the Attorney
Doesn't mean anything. What you have done.
General, former Attorney General of a border state.
Madam Vice President, a couple of
Prosecuted
things.
trafficking of drugs,
Six-
guns, and human beings. And
six
Donald Trump,
Democrats-
but let me just finish.
six
And
Democrats
Donald
voted
Trump
against that bill.
learned about that bill and told them to kill it.
6 Democrats voted against that bill. 6 Democrats voted against that bill. So it wasn't going to pass the Senate no matter what Donald Trump said. Donald Trump didn't convince 6 Democrats to vote against that bill in the Senate. when you have a basically zero Senate majority. 6 Democrats also killed that bill.
Because he preferred to run on
Hello,
a
Black
problem
Hebrews, right?
instead of fixing a problem. And in this
That's right.
election,
And
this is rightly a
unacceptable views.
discussion that the American
Stanhope.
people want to have. And what they want are solutions, and they want a president of the United States who's not playing political games with the issue,
I hear you.
but actually is focused on fixing
6
it.
Democrats voted against that bill. It would have allowed 1.8 million illegal immigrants into the country a year. A lot of conservatives had a problem with it. These are the 6 Democrats. But more importantly,
6 Democrats in the United States Senate means the bill wasn't passing anyway. That's the point he's making there. They keep saying, oh, Donald Trump killed the bill. Well, wait, 6 Democrats voted against it? If those 6 Democrats had voted for it, Kamala Harris could have been the tie-breaking vote.
back to the original premise. Jocelyn Nungari, Rachel Morin, Laken Riley, they are young women who were brutally assaulted and killed by some of the men who were released at the beginning of the administration, well before a negotiated bipartisan bill. Former President Clinton actually referred to Laken Riley Sunday campaigning for you in Georgia, saying if those men had been properly vetted, Laken Riley probably would not have
she
been
don't like
killed.
that question.
So if it wouldn't have happened,
She's thinking so hard. She got them earrings are burning up because all her she got them earrings on, by the way.
this is well before any negotiation.
By the way, thank you, Avocado Stable. You are the
You are the
Streamlab
new
Superstar
Streamlab
Sponsor of the Day. Who says, remember when Trump wanted to secure the border, and one of the reasons why was fentanyl, and how their talking point was most fentanyl comes through the docks? Yeah, I remember that. Yes, thank you, Avocado Stable.
Negotiation. This is well before Donald Trump got involved in the politics. This is a specific policy decision by your administration to release these men into the country. So what I'm saying to you, do you owe
Brett,
those
I think it's
families
really, I think
an apology?
Let me just say, first of all,
No, she
those
doesn't.
are tragic cases. There's no question about that.
Before,
There's no question about
before the bill you're talking about was 3.5 years into your administration, lady. The Biden-Harris, I believe your name is Harris, administration.
And I can't imagine the pain that the families of those victims have experienced.
Number
1
one,
million, 3 million.
number one, how angry do you think she was after this? I guarantee she threw a fit. Oh, she was mad as hell. Wait, where were we here? Sorry.
Crisis.
I think we've had a broken immigration system transcend
open border policy.
Part of your
of those
Here we go.
victims have experienced for a loss that should not have occurred. So that is true. It is also true that if a border security had actually been passed 9 months ago, it would be 9 months.
All 3 of those people would still be dead. That's what are you talking about? Well, if we'd put this past this 9 months, first of all, this bill didn't come out 9 months ago. That bill came out in June. June is when it was presented to the Senate. Wasn't it June? It was like 3 months. It was 3.5 years into the it was election year politics, looking like we're doing something, when all they were really doing was making a bill so they could make the processing of illegal border crossings more efficient. What the hell? I want to see what the hell she says here.
That is true. It is also true that if a border security had actually been passed 9 months ago, it would be 9 months that we would have had more border agents at the border, more.
First of all, again, it didn't come out 9 months ago. And no, you would not have had more border agents at the border because you wouldn't have hired that. It would have taken you 2 years to hire that many border agents.
Support for the folks who are working around the clock, trying to hold it all
Trying to process illegal immigrants, giving them phones and getting them court dates.
together
Madam Vice President.
to ensure that no future harm would occur.
What about the 10 million that are already here? What about the 15,000 rapists that are already here? What about the 13,000 convicted murderers that are already here? What about the 20,000 convicted assault charges that are already here? I think that's what most of us are more concerned about. If you fix it right now, none of those people have gone home yet.
And this election in 20 days will determine whether we have a president of the United States who actually cares more about fixing a problem, even if it is not to their political advantage in an election, because there was a solution.
No, there was
Madam
not.
Vice President, it was a policy decision in the early part of your administration. I will let one of the mothers talk about it. Take a
Oh,
listen.
this is hard. This is
Because
hard.
of the Biden-Harris administration open border policies catch and release, they were enrolled in the Alternatives to Detention program. This meant that they were released into the United States. It was not even a full 3 weeks later that they would take my daughter, Jocelyn Nungare's life. I believe the Biden-Harris administration open border policies.
Who's this Harris person she keeps talking about? Who is this Harris person she keeps talking about? Biden Harris. Who's the Harris?
Are responsible for the death of my daughter.
That's the early days. So
Look. Oh, she's looking at the monitor.
you owe them an apology is what
I
I'm
will
saying.
tell you that I am so sorry for her loss. I am so sorry for her loss.
Okay, she got an apology.
Sincerely. But let's talk about
Donald Trump.
what is happening right
Let's
now.
talk about Donald
with
Trump.
An individual.
Let's talk
who
about
does
Donald
not
Trump. Every single question so far she's mentioned Donald Trump. What are you going to do? What did you do? What can you do? What can you do? What, you know?
want to participate in solutions. Let's talk about that as well.
But do you
Brett,
want to answer
in
her?
all fairness, I told you I feel awful for what she and her family have experienced.
During that time, you said repeatedly that the border was secure. When in your mind did it start becoming a crisis?
I think we've had a broken immigration system.
Look, Brett Baer did this to Donald Trump about a year ago too, and didn't let up, asked hard questions, and that's why Donald Trump don't like him. Okay, I don't care. I'm impressed with Brett Baer here. He's equally hard on both sides, and I'm fine with that. Ask tough questions. Thank you, Avocados Diablo said a follow-up should have been, if you need more agents to secure the border and prevent illegal entries, how are they 4 times lower while Trump was in office when they had fewer agents, right? Right? That gets 2 bells. Right on. Exactly. All right.
Transcending, by the way, Donald Trump's administration even before. Let's all be honest about that. I have no pride in saying that this is a perfect
Clip that. I have no pride. Okay.
immigration system. I've been clear, I think we all are,
Are we?
that it needs to be fixed. We need more. I was just down at the border talking with border
For the first
agents,
time
and they
in my entire 4 years in this office, I finally made it to the border. Actually, she's been there. I think she's been there twice as vice president. So this was the second time. And this one last time was photo ops, campaign photo ops. She didn't do anything. She just went down there, and the guys who were there, the border agent looked disgusted that she was even there. All of a sudden, 3.5 years into this.
I tell you, and I'm sure you probably, I know you investigate and you are a serious journalist. They will tell you, we need more judges. We need to process those cases faster. We need this.
There it is. Whoop, there it is. We need to process those cases faster. The border agents don't do that. Now, if you want more judges, the reason you need more judges is because you keep letting them in. If you weren't letting them in, you wouldn't need more judges. Mrs. Hayes, what's up?
Support for those cases that should be prosecuted. They need more resources, and Congress ultimately is the only place that's going to get fixed, Brett.
Well,
that's how this system works.
That's
well,
the premise of this question.
it
There were
sure
90 plus
works.
executive orders that were rescinded in the first days.
Ding.
Many of those were Trump border policies. I'm not going to stay here because there's other things to talk about, but you frequently talk to the Border Patrol Union for support of that bipartisan bill, and they did. They supported it. But they also just endorsed Donald Trump and said, you've been, quote, a failure with border security. Why do you think they said that?
I think they're frustrated, and I get it. They want support.
They're frustrated.
They want support, and that's what that border.
And they got support under the last president. They got to do their job under the last president. You've turned them into illegal border crosser processing agents, not border control agents. You turn them into border flow agents. That's the difference. And they want to be border control agents, not border flow agents.
security bill
I got to clip that on myself. God damn. That was brilliant.
would have done. These guys down at the border, these men and women, they're working hard. They're working around
They're
the
working hard,
clock.
writing
I get
down
it.
names or pencil and shit in, filling out paperwork. That's what they're doing.
There's a lot of people that look back at what you said in 2019 when you first ran for president. And there have been changes, and you've talked about some of them. When it comes to immigration, you supported allowing immigrants in the country illegally to apply for driver's license, to qualify for free tuition at universities, to be enrolled in
Every
free
one of these
healthcare.
things. Oh,
Do you
give them
still support those things?
Give them all kinds
Listen,
of free
that was
shit.
5 years ago.
Oh, what's 5 years ago? What about now? Do you not support any of that anymore? Hello, Mr. X51. Thank you for retweeting my announcement this morning. I appreciate you.
And I'm very clear that I will follow the law. I have made that statement over and over again. And as Vice President of the United
Oh
States,
my God. I will follow the law. That's interesting. That's very interesting because you're not following the law right now in a sense. And when you say you'll follow the law, but you support new laws, so what are the new laws that you support you'd like to see passed that you would follow? Because you will follow the law doesn't mean anything to me when you have the ability as the president to sign new laws. Are you going to push new legislation? Are you going to push for new laws? What laws are you going to follow? What laws are you going to change? How much easier are you going to make it for illegal border crossers to keep coming in and get processed faster versus going through the normal immigration process? Those are the laws that I want you to follow right now, which you are not following.
exactly what I've done, not to mention before.
Border concierge agents. Exactly, Haiti.
If that's the case, you chose a running mate, Tim Walz, governor of Minnesota, who signed those very things into state law. So do you support that?
Do you support the fact that he wants to make Minnesota a sanctuary state? Good question. Free in our state where I live, Tim Walz is Minnesota. I live here. They approved driver's license for illegal immigrants. They approved, and by the way, when you sign up for a driver's license in Minnesota, you're automatically registered to vote unless you opt out of it using a separate form. That's brilliant. So everyone who signs up for a license just automatically gets registered. They don't know if you're a citizen or not unless you opt out. Brilliant.
We are very clear, and I am
No,
very
you're
clear,
not very
as is
clear. That's
Tim
if
Walz.
you were very clear, he wouldn't ask you the question. You made him your running mate. He's Amnesty, Amnesty Tim. That's another nickname we could give him. Free shit for illegals, Tim. And now you're saying you've made it clear that you're going to follow the law?
That we must
fuck outta here.
support and enforce federal law, and that is exactly what we will do.
Okay. I
So
bet you won't.
decriminalizing border crossings, like you said in 2019.
I do not believe in decriminalizing border
you did.
crossings, and I've not done that as vice president. I will not do that as president.
So these are
I- and-
evolutions that
but-
you've had.
no, But let's be very clear. I'm the only person who's running for president who has prosecuted transnational criminal organizations, from the Sinaloa cartel to the Guadalajara cartel to people who have trafficked in guns, drugs, and human beings. I have spent a significant part of my career going after people who present a threat to the safety of the American people and cross our border with the intent of doing us harm and cross our border.
That's exemplary. Fan-fucking-tastic. Now, let's get back to the last 3 years when you made the border a, you made it a quick trip. You can come on, stop on in and get your quick, you get a quick cell phone and some money, and we'll get you a free ticket to somewhere in the United States where you can wait for your trial. Quick stop.
Border illegally.
That's
do
what you've
that
done
work
for
as
us
Vice
lately.
President. I take that work quite seriously.
Well, clearly you don't.
This is
Because oh my God, I take that so seriously. Super serious.
time when voters, especially here in Pennsylvania, are inundated with commercials and ads. They just want it to stop because it's every commercial. But
Here's
many
one.
of them add noise, but a few of them seem to break through.
They resonate.
This particular one from
They
the Trump
resonate.
campaign has gotten a lot of attention.
Kamala supports taxpayer-funded sex changes for prisoners.
She does.
Surgery
For prisoners.
for prisoners. Every transgender inmate in the prison system would have access.
So are you still in support of using taxpayer dollars to help prison inmates or detained illegal aliens to transition to another gender?
I will follow the law. And it's
What does
a law
that mean?
Donald Trump
That's not what he asked you. Again, you have the power to push laws. So you'll follow the law means nothing. That's what the president pushes stuff through their party and through the Congress and Senate, whatever, House and Senate. So following the law, you saying I will follow the law don't mean shit.
actually followed. You're probably familiar with, now it's a public report, that under Donald Trump's administration, these surgeries were available on a medical necessity basis to people in the federal prison system. And I think, frankly, that ad from the Trump campaign is a little bit of like throwing...
It's weird because it doesn't mean Donald Trump supported it. It doesn't mean... the fact that they happened under Donald Trump's... wait, this is so hard to watch without just yelling. She doesn't provide a single... What up, monkey? How you doing, my brother? Holy shit. I mean, Donald Trump didn't sign a law, and you could sign a law. So that's what he's asking you, if you support it or not. You following the law doesn't mean shit, because you can help make new laws and sign it at your desk. Would you sign a law on your desk as the President of the United States that says we will fund every transgender surgery for prison inmates and illegal aliens? How about that? That's what he's asking you, dumbass. Monkey, you should have told me about the yelling part, because now I'm yelling.
stones when you're living in a glass house.
The Trump aides say that he never advocated for that prison
Yeah,
policy.
you advocate for it. He does
You
not.
got to take responsibility for what happened in your administration.
Yeah, no surgeries happened in his presidency.
It's in
So
black and white.
would you still advocate for using taxpayer dollars for gender
That's the
reassignment
question.
I would follow the law.
No comment.
Just
Hello, amazing disgrace is in the house.
I
you have a
think
say
Donald
in
Trump would
this.
say he did.
You would have a say as president.
Like I said, I think it's he spent $20 million on those ads, trying to create a sense of fear in the voters, because he actually has no plan in this election that is about focusing on the needs of the American people.
Really? I think the fact that now you may not like him talking about tariffs, but let me just use that as an example. So he's been talking about tariffs as a means to bring manufacturing back to the United States. Also, maybe having some of the foreign countries that sell their shit here pay their fair share, because you like to talk about corporations paying their fair share. Well, those corporations that ship shit over here, are they paying their fair share, Kamala? Because they're not paying corporate taxes in the United States. And guess what? During World War II, let me just give you an example here. So after World War II, right, we tried to help the economies of Japan and Germany by allowing them to put massive tariffs on American-made products that we send to them. But we agreed not to have any tariffs on our products for them sending us, so we could help their economies, because we were using our robust economy to help those countries that we bombed the shit out of, and we didn't want them to go back to being assholes. So we said, okay, we'll help you out and help your economy. So why are we still doing that 80 years later where you can't sell a Ford, and this is an example Donald Trump gave, you can't sell a Ford in Germany because there's a 100% tariff on American-made vehicles in Germany, but we don't put that same tariff on them. So Donald Trump talking about tariffs can maybe make that balance. Maybe we can negotiate both sides having low tariffs for shit that you send to the other country, and that would be advantageous to us. So the idea that he has no ideas for, and that's just one of many examples. If you go through what his policies are going to be, so the idea has nothing to help the American people. That would immediately help American manufacturing and car making and all that shit. So shut the fuck up.
Whereas at $20 million.
Yes, I'm repping your hometown in that shirt. And, I got to show you something, Monkey. Well, you don't live there anymore, but my niece's husband is this like master sushi chef. And I got to show you some of the spreads. I'll put some pictures on somewhere one of these days because the shit looks fire. But I don't know what made me think of that. I guess San Diego makes me think of that because I think of my niece every time I think of San Diego. Here we go.
On that ad. On an issue that, as it relates to the biggest issues that affect the American people, it's really quite remote. And again, his policy was...
It's remote, except now you got the transgender male, the boys playing against girls, and you got all that stuff. That it's remote now, but guess what? 2016, when I started doing this shit, it was kind of a joke, and then all of a sudden, now we're seeing it on regularly. In fact, you got a bunch of colleges in the West Coast, volleyball teams, college volleyball teams, refusing to play against a certain San Diego State University because the San Diego State University has a transgender identifying male on their team. Now, maybe that's not a big deal to you, but now are these girls all going to get sanctioned because you think they're being discriminatory? It's maybe a small issue now, but it keeps growing. And the fact that we're mutilating children, I'm curious what your... this is the first person I've seen in an interview this entire election cycle who asked either Harris or Tim Walz anything about this issue. Now, it maybe seems a small issue to you, but I'm tired of, having kids go to school and being confused by this shit. So maybe you can clear up your position on it so I can make a decision on whether or not I want you to have the bully pulpit on this issue. San Jose U, not San Diego U. San Jose State. Did I say that? Oh, yeah, it is San Jose State. That's right. They're like a ranked team. And this outside hitter they got, that's a dude, man. He can jump out of the gym even though he tries to look like a chick. Anyway.
No different. Look at where we are, though.
Look at where we are.
Plans for the American people, I'm offering a plan to deal with affordable housing.
No, you're not. You're offering free money for people who never owned a house. And guess what? How much of that money probably go to illegal aliens because it won't help my kids because their parents owned a house. Have you read that plan?
Offering a plan to deal with what we need to do to strengthen small businesses, which are the backbone of America's economy.
But by offering free money.
A plan that is about taking care of young parents and giving them the support they need.
By offering free money.
My plans for the economy will strengthen the economy, as have been
offering
reviewed
free
by
money.
16 Nobel laureates.
Yes, who gives a fuck? This is the dickhead from the New York Times. That's a Nobel laureate, and he don't know shit about it. He's the dumbest motherfucker I ever saw. Paul Krugman, that motherfucker. Paul Krugman, Nobel Prize winning economist. Basically, his theory of the economy is whatever Democrats say. And he's been wrong constantly. Hello, Mass Creation, what up? And Kevin S.
Goldman Sachs, Moody's, and recently the Wall Street Journal, which have all studied our plans and have indicated my plans for our economy would strengthen our economy, his would make them weaker, would ignite inflation and invite a recession by the middle of next year. Those are the facts.
Why do you think more people say they trust him on the economy than they trust you?
I think that when you look at an analysis of our plans for what we would do as President of the United States.
I don't know.
It has been clear to those who study and understand
who study your earrings with the speakers in them.
How economic policy works, that moving forward, because I do believe the American people are ready to turn the page.
Turn the page? Who's in office right now? Yeah, she is. It's her, right? Yeah, I'm ready to turn the page. You're right. She got one thing right. I'm ready to turn the page.
Divisiveness and the
she
type
went on
of rhetoric that
divisiveness.
has come out of Donald Trump.
Oh, yeah, I know. The people calling Donald Trump Hitler and the people saying he's a threat to democracy and an existential threat to the economy and to your life and all that stuff. None of that's divisive.
People are ready to chart a new way forward. And they want a president who has a plan for the future and a plan that is sound and will strengthen our country. My plan for the economy does exactly that. His plan would be again to give tax cuts to billionaires and the biggest corporations in our country.
And I'm not a billionaire. I got a tax cut when Donald Trump was in office. So I just, And actually, you say you're not going to raise taxes on anyone making over $400,000, but you're going to repeal Donald Trump's tax cut, which all Americans got. So hello, lunatic, a.k.a. your ridiculous mood enthusiast.
And blow up our deficit.
It's interesting you said turn the page.
Blow up our deficit. Pot kettle. All these motherfuckers are blowing up the deficit. I want them to start cutting departments in our United States government and maybe do a little austerity and maybe just get some of this shit under control. But I don't know if anyone wants to do that. But, well, wait. Donald Trump said he would get rid of the Department of Education, which is redundant. It's completely redundant. Every state has their own Department of Education. We don't need a federal Department of Education. We just don't. It hasn't proved anything. When that came in 1978, when Carter came up with that shit, we were #1 in the world in education, and now we're like, 50th. I don't care about the Department of Education. It hasn't improved anything.
Madam Vice President, you were asked on 2 different shows last week what, if anything, you would do differently than President Biden. Here's what you said.
Would you have done something differently than President Biden
can't think of anything.
during the past 4 years?
There's not a thing that comes to mind in terms of, and I've been a part of most of the decisions that have had impact.
Oh, great.
Under a Harris administration, what would the major changes be, and what would stay the same?
Well,
Sure. Well, I mean, I'm obviously not Joe Biden.
probably not a lot. Obviously, I'm not Joe Biden. Yeah, but you cut and pasted his whole entire policy page to yours and then made little tweaks.
Biden.
I noticed.
And so that would be one change in terms of, but also I think it's important to say with 28 days to go, I'm not Donald Trump.
So,
Okay.
you're not Joe Biden, you're not Donald Trump, but nothing comes to mind that you would do differently?
Let me be very clear.
Let me be clear. Oh my God, they love saying that. She must have Katrina, whatever. Jean-Pierre, the very sounding name, press secretary. She must have Latrine writing her scripts. We have been very clear. Let me be clear. I've been very clear. We've been very clear. No, because clear kind of means transparent, and you are the least transparent administration I've ever seen.
Presidency will not be a continuation of Joe Biden's presidency.
Why not? Are you saying it wasn't successful? Why wouldn't it be? I thought it was the greatest thing since buttered sliced bread. I thought the economy was incredibly robust. Why wouldn't you continue be the Biden administration? I bet you have the same puppeteers. Hello, Trippy Liberty. What's up, my brother?
And like every new president that comes
She does not like this shit. How many people at her staff got smacked in the mouth after this interview?
My life experiences, my professional.
Your life experiences as a bougie kid who was in Berkeley and in Toronto or Montreal as a Canadian. I mean, you weren't a Canadian, you're an American living in Canada, but fuck, going to private school in Canada. She went to a private school. My life experiences. Oh, you mean your first year in college you went to in Canada and then transferred to Howard University because I don't know why.
Experiences and fresh and new ideas.
What fresh and new ideas? Name one fresh new idea that you have.
Represent a new generation of leadership.
Oh, yeah, you're a generation behind Biden. Okay, whatever.
I, for example, am someone who has not spent the majority of my career in Washington, D.C. I invite.
No, you spent you spent it in San fucking Francisco. Do you think that's better? Oh my God.
Ideas, whether it be from the Republicans who are supporting me,
from California liberal Democrats. Stop lying.
who were just on stage with me minutes ago.
Yeah, they're yes. Oh, yes, and the Donald Trump haters. You don't take a single idea from them.
And the business sector and others who can contribute.
Who you hate.
To the decisions that I make about, for example, my plan for increasing the supply of housing in America. And
You have look, President. There's no plan a president has for increasing the supply of housing. The supply of housing is not the problem. Okay, obviously you were able to find housing for 10 million illegal immigrants. That's amazing that you could find housing for 10 million illegal immigrants when we got about 2 million homeless people in this country. You found housing for 10 million illegal immigrants. It's not the amount of housing, it's just who you dole it out to.
Bringing down the cost of housing, addressing the issue of small businesses.
You don't bring down the cost of housing, but in fact, the cost of housing is going to rise as you continue to allow demand to rise because you're filling up a good portion of it with illegal immigrants. That's why people in Springfield, Ohio are really mad. It's not about eating cats and dogs, okay? Because that's suspect. But look, it's because of the fact that you are filling up housing and you're displacing people and causing the rise of housing by using government money to pay for other people. So when they have unlimited government money to rent houses with, the price of housing goes up because of the competition. And also landlords know they can make more money. Like, let's say if you could have Section 8 where you rented one room at a time, like for, let's say $800 a month, but the government pays for it. So you know you're guaranteed a check on the first of every month. Or do I take someone who's maybe has a 650 credit score, which is not terrible, but it's not great, and they're only going to pay you $900 a month for the entire unit. I'm going to take that government money that's coming on the first of every month, no matter what. And I'm not renting to this motherfucker. Well, guess what? That makes the price of housing go up because it weakens the supply. And that's your plan. Your plan is to give people free money so they can fill in, buy these houses and increase demand.
Which is about working with the private sector to bring more capital and access to capital to our small business leaders, including my plan for a $25,000
I want to give
down payment assistance for first-time home.
No, it's not for first-time home buyers. It's for first-time non-legacy home buyers. So people who their family never owned a home. That's the part that she keeps leaving out. It's not for first-time home buyers. My daughter and son-in-law would not have qualified for that $25,000. Both families owned homes when they were growing up.
Home buyers, and for small businesses, extending the tax deduction from $5,000 to $50,000.
Now, there's no problem with that but again, it's a tax deduction. It's not giving them $50,000. So they still got to start the business on their own, which is fine. I mean, yeah, there's an investment in owning a business. Why, that's actually, I don't mind that idea though. That's fine.
A lot about those plans in recent days. Your campaign slogan is a new way forward, and it's time to turn the page.
Forward.
You've been vice president for 3.5 years. So what are you turning the page from?
Exactly. And she's going to talk about rhetoric, but no.
Well, first of all, turning the page from the last decade in which we have been burdened with...
By what has been?
The kind of rhetoric coming from Donald Trump that has been designed and implemented.
Donald Trump's rhetoric has nothing to do with the economy that's happening right now or the actions of your administration over the last 3 years. His rhetoric has nothing to do with it. His rhetoric has nothing to do with 3.5 years of unchecked illegal immigration. His rhetoric has nothing to do with the inflation that you say is, inflation's down. Not cumulatively. It's the rate of inflation may be a little bit down, but the effect is exponential over 4 years. So his rhetoric has nothing to do with that. His rhetoric has nothing to do with the withdrawal from Afghanistan. His rhetoric has nothing to do with the fact that you've released money to Iran and now they're funding terrorist organizations that are attacking Israel. It has nothing to do with any of that. He asked about you. If your answer to every fucking question is Donald Trump and how Donald Trump's mean and Donald Trump's rhetoric and Donald Trump said this and Donald Trump said that, you're not answering the fucking questions. And unfortunately, I don't have any more time to listen to this right now. I watched this interview earlier today, and I think I want to go through back at this one more time and see if there are any questions where she did not mention Donald Trump when Bret Baier asked her about the Biden-Harris administration. Because I don't think there's a single answer where she doesn't mention Donald Trump. And at the end of this interview, Bret Baier makes the point, I brought you on to ask about what your policies are and this and that, and we learned a lot about what you think about Donald Trump. I don't know that we have heard about you. And she gets angry, a couple times in this interview. I don't think this, and I'm watching the Harry Sissons and Krasensteins and all the assholes on there saying, oh, she did so well. It was such a hostile interview. Fuck, every interview Donald Trump does is a hostile interview. And yet he just goes through it calmly and makes fun of them sometimes and says mean things. But the idea that Donald Trump does not take tough interviews, shut the fuck up. And on that note, I got to go. Guys, thanks for joining me for this, this my own personal struggle session because I'm struggling to get through this shit. If you want to watch the rest of it, it'll be in the links. I got some other links to reactions to this, some articles and stuff. Not a whole lot of stuff today, but and I'll have an actual show tomorrow. So you guys enjoy your day. We might do the second half of this tomorrow, or we might not. It's Q&A day tomorrow. So that's way more important than listening to Kamala Harris not answer questions. All right, that's it. I got to go. Thank you. My name's Dawg Knight, and I'm the fuck out of here. Bye-bye. Hey, this is Dawg Knight, and thank you for watching today on the Dawg Knight Channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cash App, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm Dawg Knight, and I'm out of here.